It's always ideal to wear mask, gloves when you're doing these things, but I've been hanging around Jeff too long and we don't take the precautions we're supposed to.
I love your dipping flat scoop. We're flat scooping this thing right here. That's exactly what's happening. All right, folks.
We are tanning today.
Yeah, we swapping gears. Yeah, we dropping it down in passing gear, and we're working on curing hides today. While I was real crippled up, I'm a little bit better off now, was then anyway. But she got out here and fleshed one of Hannah's elk, a black coyote, and then one of Paul's deer for a shoulder mount. She's doing a backpack mount for the
elk.
Yeah, the elk, and then a hanging mount on the dead coyote.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
A shoulder mount for the deer. So she fleshed it really good, salted it, put 200
pounds of salt.
200 pounds of salt on all this stuff. I'm talking about just covers it with salt and let it sit. It's been sitting the whole time.
Yeah.
Brought them out here. We should have done a video on it. Sorry about it. This is the way we operate, though. So y'all just got to catch up. Yeah. So washed all of the salt off of it.
Yeah.
Washed them really good. Soaked them, trying to soften them back up. And now we're putting them back in clean water. And we're adding 5 pounds of salt to 5 gallons. So it's a pound of salt.
Yeah.
And we're using pickling salt. Pickling salt because that's all we got. So we're putting 1 pound of salt per gallon of water.
Yep, and 1 ounce of formic acid per 1 gallon water.
Yeah, and that's going to pickle the hide, and then we're going to pull it out in 2 or 3 days, and she, emphasis on she, because I ain't doing it. I'll tear the hide all to pieces. I've already tried it.
Yeah, flush it again. Make sure all of that meat's off. Put it back into the pickle for a few more days. Take it out. Clean it, and then put your tanning oil all over it, and wait for our mannequins to come in.
Yeah, and you can just roll it up then, and she said you could freeze it.
Yeah.
She's the taxidermist. I just work here. But I figured we better do a YouTube video on it, because we're out here doing it. But you see what we got right here. This is the elk hide.
The elk and coyotes in here right now.
Yeah, we're going to put 4 more gallons of water in there. That's going to be 12 pounds. 12 pounds of salt, 12 gallons of water right here. And then going to be 12 ounces of
formic acid.
Okay,
when we're done with this today, we're going to make some ribs.
Yeah.
In the smoker.
We're going to have $16,000 in cannon salt, because this is what I guess we need.
Yeah.
It's cannon salt. We need to start buying this stuff at 55.
What you're doing to these hides is pickling it.
Yeah.
You're just putting it into a state where it will keep and last.
And on the salt, you're not supposed to use rock salt when you stack it. I mean, when you cover them.
Yeah.
But you're putting hair down.
Yeah.
Skin up. Oh, yeah. Flesh side up. Cover it thick with salt.
Make sure there's no folds in the skin.
Yeah. That way that salt can penetrate that skin and keep the hair from slipping.
Yeah.
But they should be good, I've heard, up to 2 years after you go through that process. Possibly. I don't know. You better do your math. I mean, you better check that before you. Yeah. But so now we're fixing to add 4 more gallons of water. I just added the 4 pounds of salt, another 4 pounds. $75 worth. So yeah, them oak leaves right there add extra tannic acid in there. So yeah, they're good.
So when you do this, you want to check the pH of your water before you go crazy with salt and the formic acid. And if your pH is too strong, you can add baking soda to neutralize it. And every day you're going to want to stir this, first thing when you wake up, throughout the day, and in the evening. Check your pH every day. Add formic acid if you need to. Add your salt if you need to, because you always want your pH to be 1.5. And depending on what the pH of your water originally when you put it in is going to depend on how much salt and formic acid you put in. So you really just have to play around with it.
Yeah, I think we started out with, a 6 or 7 on the water?
It was about a 7.
Yeah, we don't know what that exactly means, but we do know that it ain't a 1.5, and that's what we need.
And when you add your skins, that's going to change the pH too.
Yeah, because there's still gonna be salt in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, still gonna be salt. So the salt's gonna change it.
And if you didn't get all the blood out, which you really need to try to, that's also gonna.
Yeah, that's why we rinsed and rinsed and rinsed and rinsed and rinsed, trying to get all of the blood out of the hide before we even started on this part of it right here.
So these are the pH strips that we're using. I'm just gonna take a piece. Make sure you do not contaminate these, because once they're contaminated at all with water or anything, it will alter your pH levels.
All right.
So
and that stuff smells like vinegar.
You know what? We're pretty much right on. We need it in between those two.
Yep, that's good.
I'd say we're pretty close. It's a little bit closer to 2, I would say. But give it a second for it to...
Yeah, well, we got another hide or two to add in there with it too, so that might change it. That's good, though.
We need to bring it down a little bit more.
So what do you add?
We're going to add a little bit more salt and a little bit more formic acid.
Okay, we don't have any more salt.
Okay.
So what do we do in that situation? Go get more salt.
Let's add our other skins and see what happens first.
Okay. All right. There you have it, folks. And it smells like vinegar.
It smells like vinegar.
Really strong vinegar.
Because think about when you're pickling, your veggies or something, you're using vinegar and salt. That's what we're doing to these skins. We're pickling them.
Yummy. All right, so what we doing now? We've let it pickle for how long?
72 hours. So after the skins are in the pickle for 72 hours, you can take them out and do your final stages of fleshing. Usually it is a lot easier if you have a fleshing wheel, but we don't. So we're using a knife and doing it the old-fashioned way, which works just fine, as long as you have a professional knife sharpener to keep your knife sharpened.
Yeah, because let me tell you, this leather, this stuff will dull one in a minute.
So after it sits in the pickle for a few days, it makes it easier to get the rest of the meat off. And then you throw it back in the pickle for another few days and let that solution, really penetrate the skin.
Yeah, because now, believe it or not, she spent, 4 or 5 hours fleshing this cape before she put it in the pickle. And all this did was just...
Yeah, you can see the color.
It made it stand up. It made that membrane stand up, and it makes it a little bit easier to get off. But like I said, it does dull.
Yeah, it dulls the knife like crazy.
It dulls the knife, yeah, big time.
But you can see all that needs to come off, so you're left with this nice white hide.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
And all I have to do is sit here and sharpen knives. So, I mean,
Which is a huge help. My goodness.
Yeah, and it doesn't take but just a minute. I mean, that one's already getting, But I just hit them on the ceramic a little bit. She goes back at it. Look at that. And I mean, it was amazing how clean they were when you put them in there.
Yeah, you would never know that you would get that much more.
Yeah, and then that much more just, you would think you were good, and then, nope, much more. Getting it down to the leather now.
Oops, sorry.
Sling it on me, that's all right.
Splashing you with the pickle.
Yeah, a little nasty, but when you get done, look at it after that.
Yeah.
And you can tell it changed the whole texture of that skin. You can tell now it's leather.
Yeah, and you want to make sure you get, all these little tags off, because when you do your mount, that'll show through the skin. It will be all lumpy, and especially if it's a really thin hide. Like the deer here have such short hair. When you go to mount that, anything like that that's left on, you'll see that through your mount. So you want to make sure all that's gone. And if you were to do if you want to do a leather coat, or you want to make some moccasins or something, you would do this. And then what you were saying you use lye,
yeah,
to remove the hair.
And it'll just slip right off.
And there you go. That's how leather coats are made. Same process.
Yep. Okay, folks, I got to quit and sharpen the knife. We got one down, so turning out good though, looking good.
All right, it is the final day in the tanning pickling process, so I'm going to take the skins out, flush them one last time, neutralize, degrease, and put the tanning oil on. To neutralize the capes is put baking soda in the water.
We can do that with a tote. Okay. This girl has fledged and fledged and fledged. And this is what a big broadhead will do to a bobcat. Sort of messes it up a little bit. This big joker right here. You got the black coyote over here. Stretched out.
It's really soft though. That one turned out really good.
Alright, so we're going to fold this up and roll it up and put it in the freezer?
Yeah.
That'll be good.